Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and tonight I'm going to play some more Artisan of Glimmith because that's what I've been doing. I've really been enjoying this game. Last night I did join the community Discord for this game with the button down here, and what was interesting was reading through the chat, and I saw quite a few people expressing the similar sort of frustration that I have been with the fact that with the concept of how do you logically prove the next step in some of these puzzles and everything. And the vast majority of people responding are saying, well, a lot of these puzzles aren't supposed to be logically proven. What you're supposed to do is like disprove stuff by placing stuff and seeing what does and doesn't work. So this isn't the sort of puzzle game, even though it states early on in the game, I was watching an early stream with this, that before you place any color or any border, you should actually know that it's true before you place it. That is not the way the vast majority of the people on the Discord provide hints, some of which I think are the actual developers. One of them they've got a special name coloring and everything. So the way this is supposed to be solved is vibe solved. It's like, oh, you'll get a feel for it. Literally, I saw hints along the lines of you'll get a feel for it as you go. So, hey, Butterfly, and happy Easter. So we'll have to see how this goes, but I'm going to continue playing with my game, which has 345 puzzles solved. I am exhausted because we've spent another day ripping the house apart, but I did just come into a new rule set, and I'm going to see what we find. So each region contains a single symbol, so I can draw borders between symbols, and then we must continue. Yellow must come out, can't come into here. Yellow must come out, yellow must come out, can't come into here. Yellow must come out, there's 5 of it. This must come out, this must come out, this must come out, this must come out. Purple must grow, so blue must grow. Purple must grow, purple must grow again. This is a different color which must come out. Red must come out, orange must come out, yellow completes, orange must come out, red must come out, blue must come out. There's borders in all of, not necessarily there, there's borders in all of these. Now, cyan must come out, blue must come out, cyan must come out, red must come out. Now, red needs another one now. And therefore it must take that, which means orange takes that. Cyan must come out, cyan must grow, and blue must grow, and there's the solution. Excellent. Let's do another one. Each region contains a single symbol, so we can draw borders between symbols, and depicts the shape of its region. So because this must go that way, and that's a 4x1, that is done. Now, this is now a 4x1 and is done. Now, this has to come down, and as soon as this one comes down because of its shape, it must take those two, and that is done. This must come out forcing that shape, and it's done. This must come out, and it's part of an L. And if it came down this way, because each region contains a single symbol, that does not work, so that's the region. Now, yeah, this has to come out because it has to pick up a shape. As soon as it takes that, it can't continue. So that's the L, then that's the L. And then, yeah, this must come out. And because it's an L, if I did that, I wouldn't have the right shape. So it must then turn, and that completes the puzzle. Hey, Keith. The person who's doing all of the admin assistance for the channel visited me today. And we had some more discussions about some future planning for the channel and everything. That went well, but I do need to try and find some more finances for that. Okay, each region contains a single symbol, so I can draw these borders and depicts the shape of a region. This must come out. If it went this way, I would isolate that, so it must go up, and that's the region. This one must come up and therefore must take those, and therefore that must take that, the only way it can go. This must come out. If it goes this way, then I'm isolating stuff, so it must take those. This comes out and does that, and then I can draw that in and complete. So far, so good. Okay, so we can draw borders between all of these. Now, what can take this cell? It can't be the 2. It can't be the 3. The only thing that can hit this, the 3 to get there would need 4 cells. The 2 to hit there would need 3 cells. The only thing that could hit it is the 4. So that means that is the 4. Therefore, that is the 2. The 3 doesn't need to do that. That's not true at all. But what can now hit? Is there a way of changing between these modes apart from just tabbing? No, I'd have to click. So the way to get to this cell, the only 2 things that could get to it are the 3 and the 4. But if the 3 comes to this, well, if the 4, sorry, they're the only things that could do it. But if the 4 comes to this, the 3 only has 2 cells. So therefore, it is the 3 that comes to there. Now, the only thing that can reach this is the 4. So the 4 has to come to there. And now the only thing that can reach this cell, not the 2, is this 4. So that 4 has to come to there, making that the 2 and that the 4. And those are all locked in. Now this 3 must do that, and that completes the puzzle. My wrist is better, considering I did all of the heavy lifting today, but it is not well. It is still quite sore, but I did a lot of heavy lifting today, and it is still better than yesterday. So, okay. The 6 must come through this cell, because it has to get out through here. If it doesn't come through here, then it can't come through here, it can't come through here, it can't come through here, and it's not 6. So the 6, I'm not drawing those borders in because the 12 could come into there. Well, actually, I know that border's there, but the 3 could come down here. But I know the 6 absolutely takes that cell. But what is this? That's part of the 12. This 3 can't get there. This 3 can't get there. This 3 definitely can't get there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, like this has to go around the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 can't get there. So that 6, that top corner is part of the 12, which must come through here. And the 6 must come through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's got to take a fairly direct path. But the 12 has to take this cell as well, because nothing else can reach it. So this is part of the 12. Okay. But that means these are part of the 12. So this 3 must grow. That's the 3. And this 3 needs to get 3 cells. So it must take that one. So the 6 must grow. And again. No, that's not yet. 1, 2, 3. No, it doesn't need to grow again. But the 12 still needs to come up. And the only thing that can hit this now, no, the 12 could hit it, but it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That could work. Although I think I'm isolating too much stuff here. I think the 6 has to take all of these, but I haven't proven that yet. It's the 3 at the top. Yeah, the 3 at the top can't go up, because this, if it went up, would isolate the greens. So this can't go up, and the only way the green can get through is here. Now this is a border. How does this get forced on the right-hand side? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do I need to take all the ones at the top? Yes, because if the 3 comes into the top row at all, it's isolating the greens and nothing else can get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the green absolutely takes the entire top row. And if the 3 comes this way, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, it could do that. But then what would take this cell? No, that does work. In fact, that's a valid solution. Is there another one? If the 3 goes this way, there's not enough, then it would go this way. And then once I took the 3, there's only 5 spaces for 6. So the 3 must take that cell because of the count of cells over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I need 12 cells for yellow and yellow, blue, and purple, but there's only 11 so far. This must grow at least 1, but now green must connect up. And now I need 3 cells for that 3. That connects up. The 3 must grow. And now I have to make the 6 take the 6 cells and blue must grow. And then I connect up the green and that does it. That's a really nice one. I like that. Each region contains a single symbol, so I can't draw the 2 borders there or else this region won't have a symbol. So this must do that and that comes out. This is a different color that must come out and continue to come out. So there's a border here because this hasn't hit a symbol yet. Yellow must come out. There's no border here, so there must be a border here, and it can't go up or it'll be on both sides of the border. So yellow must come down, green must come down, green must continue to grow until it hits a symbol. Yellow could stop here. Hang on, that's broken. Let me undo that. That is completely balked. At this point, I'm good, because green had to grow, but yellow doesn't have to grow. In fact, yellow can't grow. That's the end of yellow, because each region contains a single symbol. Now, there must be that, which might be able to be green. I got there, butterfly. I'm going to say you saw it first because chat always wins. Now, oh, and blue can't continue. So there's a border here and these have to be green. No, that's not true. Blue could go here. This is a different color. And green is either blue or red. But this now has to be blue. It can't be yellow. This is blue, which has to come out and connect up. This now has to be blue. Red has to... There must be a border here now. So this has to continue. And green has to be blue or red, and it can't be blue anymore. So green has to be red, and that all connects up. I'm perfectly happy to always say, there has not been any fuel shortages in it. We're preparing for fuel shortages, and there's possible that there might be some in remote areas. But if there is some fuel shortages in remote areas at this stage, my understanding it's because people are hoard purchasing rather than anything else. To the best of my knowledge, we still have not had any less supply than we have had before everything started. It's coming, and we know it's coming, but to the best of my knowledge, we've had no supply chain changes yet. So it's all caused by people hoarding. Okay, this must come up because otherwise I'd need another border. This must come out, otherwise I'd need another border. This must come out, otherwise I'd need another border, and that must come out, otherwise I'd need another border. Do I know anything other than that? I mean, yeah, but anything that's useful. I mean, this is a different color to this blue. It can't be this shape. It can't be this and it can't be this. So this has to connect to that. Which then has... Now, where do I put that L? Yeah, these all have to be different. So as far as I can see, this L has to do that. Because these have to be different to the blues. I guess that's why they can't be the blues. Do, 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 do. It was the case everywhere with toilet paper. Hey, Eric, I'm pretty certain that has to be the case because this has to be different and this has to be different. But where can I fit the L? So I'm pretty certain that's the case. This is now a different color, but this is a different color because it has to be different to blue. And once those are connected, that's the 3-1. Now, this has to be a different color. This has to be a different color. Neither of those can reach those two cells. Now, it could reach this one, but this has to be a different color. And the only thing that can reach that is also that one. So those are the same. And now this can't reach this. So red comes down. And therefore red goes up to complete its shape. And the L here can't isolate this. Blue can't get in there. So that's the L. And that completes the puzzle. That was very clever. Restore the solitude window. But I want to do some more solitude puzzles because so far these ones have been fun. Let's try 3. Well, this needs to pick up a symbol. Mismatch. I hate mismatch. But this has to pick up a shape. Or this has to pick up a symbol. So it must grow. And as soon as it enters that, that ends. So I can have no more 2x1s. This is a border. This is a border. Now, I can see these must be connected because if these weren't connected, then this would have to go this way. I mean, it could be a 1x1, but if this was a 1x1, that's fine. But where would this go? Because it couldn't be a 1x1. It'd have to grow and then it'd become a 2x2. So if these aren't connected, then we could have a 1x1, but then we'd be forced to have a 2x1, sorry. And if we can't have two 2x1s because we can't have any more 2x1s. So these shapes here must be connected and one of them will grow, forcing an elbow. And the other one will grow out, but I don't know which. So... I feel like I just want to vibe solve this one. So I can't make this one form an elbow. I really feel like I just want to vibe solve this one. No. I think both of these need to come up because there's not enough room down here. If one of these came down, I would run out of room to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regions down here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 13 cells. I think I'd run out of room. So one of these could take all of this, but I just run out of room with 13 cells and 5 regions. Like the maximum I could have is 3s and I can't use any 1s and 2s anymore. None of those can come down. And to keep them different, we've got that and that. Now, yeah, the bottom right is weird. It has to not cause an elbow because there's an elbow over here. But how does it not cause an elbow? Because if it goes up, it can't go that way. And if it went that way, it couldn't then go down. So that would cause an elbow. If it went this way, it couldn't stop. It would need to go up and then it's done. So it needs to go this way. And I could kind of see that. This could go this way. Let's make it a different color. Allowing this to be the elbow, this to be something like that, and then that is a solution. And having spoken to the Discord where everyone is like, no, you're not supposed to logically prove everyone. Like the people asking about other harder puzzles and everyone saying, but you're not supposed to be able to logically prove at every step is messy. Because it's not the way I like solving puzzles, but if it's the way the game is designed, I really don't have a choice. Each region contains a single symbol, so there's only 3 regions. This must come out. This is a different region. But we've got multiple regions over here. How is this going to work? If this went this way, this would be a single region. And surely that's broken. Because that would be a border, that would be a border, that would be a border now, that would be a border, that would need to come into there, and that would need to come into there. It just doesn't work. Because if there's borders here, if this goes this way, then this can't come down because there'd be 2 in the region. So that does that. And this can't come down or go across. There's now borders there and this shape is wrong. So all of that is wrong. This has to be vertical and there's borders there. And now the same logic applies. This can't enter here or here, and those are borders. And this is a shape and this is a shape. Okay, so we get to this point, but I now need to connect everything up. I could see a way of doing that, but again, it's a vibe solve. Maybe I can't see a way of doing that. Like, I could see a way on this side where I do that, and then I can bring this up and connect that across. Like, that's a good solve on this side. This side's a little bit more complex. Is that valid? No. So maybe this doesn't work. But yellow and red are the only colors that exist on this side. So it has to do that, because I can't get purple into this side. But I can get red out. Like that. Oh, no, I can't. So red could come to one more cell, but that's all. And then the only thing that could fill all of this up. No, I don't think red can grow. I think yellow has to go up. I'm pretty certain this has to be this. Now, if red comes across, it couldn't go up and it would end red. And that doesn't fix any problems here. So I think... these are different colors. So I need to get yellow and purple into here. But I need to get... I don't know which color this is. If I need to get purple into there, I could get yellow into there, but I can't bring purple down to there. This can only be yellow. So yellow has to do that. Hang on, I need a third color in here. I need to get red over there. How do I get red over there? Ah, I could do that. No, I can't. Because now I can do that, but I can't solve for this. Or can I? Again, I've got the red problem at the top. This has to be not red. So I have to get yellow around there, but there's nothing I could fill it with. And I'm right back here. I don't understand. I must get a red over here because this is red and yellow. And the only thing, I can't get a red down here without, the only way I could get a red into here is a red into here, because if I try and get a red down to here, I'm having to come through the top section anyway because I can't bring it through the bottom. And the only way to get a red to here is through there. So that's forced. And now a yellow must come into here. And that locks off purple. And now yellow can take all of those. And that's okay. And now can I do the trick I did with red and yellow on this side before? No, because that had red coming into that cell. This cell has to be yellow. Which means that's all yellow and that's red. Wow. Okay, so this has to take a lot of cells. So let's make it orange because orange is awesome. What cells can't be reached by anything other than orange? That's orange. 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 Okay. But with this being orange, because no two can reach it, the borders are there and orange continues up and connects to there. But there is a border here, so this must be a different color, so that's a 2. And orange comes into there. This must be a different color, and the only one it can reach is that 2. That's a 2. Now orange is the only thing that can reach there. Orange is the only thing that can reach there. Oh, neighboring regions must have different shapes. So this must be an orange now. This must be an orange. This must be an orange. Sorry, I have missed the mingle. So this can't be. This must be orange. This must be orange. This must be orange, because otherwise it'd be touching 2 2s. So this is a 2. And I would like to point out that we are now effectively broken by the rules as written. Because these are not neighboring. These are neighboring. They are diagonally neighboring, but they are neighboring. What they mean is orthogonally neighboring regions. Even their example doesn't have diagonally neighboring regions. But there's no way to have 2 2 regions. So this is broken. Because there's no way to have a 2 region that's not a 2 by 1. And I can draw a direct connection between those 2 cells. They are neighboring. They're just diagonally neighboring. That may not be what they mean, but it's not what they're saying. Now, the only way this can go now is up. The only way is up. Which means that must be orange and that must be orange, so they connect up. So the only way this can be is that. And the only way this orange can get out now is that way. And this is the 2 region. This orange has to get out and it can't go through the 2. So this has to connect this way. So that's the 2 region. So this must be orange, this must be orange, which must connect up. This is the 2 region. And the only way this orange can connect up is that way, and that is the 2 region. Now you may say I'm being pedantic about the neighboring being orthogonal versus diagonal. But how would people know that if they're just taking the wording at its word? I mean, if we're talking about my house lot, the people who live just over there, they're my neighbors. Okay. So, this 16 needs to reach this region because there is borders up here. So there are, if I draw a border like this, then I've got 2 different regions up here, and I'm only playing with 2 different regions. If I draw borders like this, then these 2 cells here are both part of the 16 region. Does that even work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I can't get much further than that. I couldn't pick up both of those. So I could never pick up both of those. I could pick up both of those. I could pick up both of those. So, but I could never have that as a border. Or maybe I could if I didn't pick up the top and I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I could if I went that way. So it's not actually telling me anything. But I could also potentially go through the middle or around the other side. Like if I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That works. Now, I know, however, that this cell and this cell are part of the same region. Yeah, well, I took that path, but there'd be other ways I could go. Like if I went through like that. Well, hang on. I can't take that cell, I don't think. Yeah, I can't take this cell. Because if I took this cell, to do it, I'd have to do something like that. And now I can't get down here with yellow. So, yeah, the 16 has to take this one and this one and this one. Because if I took this cell, to get there, I have to take this cell and come through somehow, whether I come through this way or I come through this way or anything like that. And I'm isolating stuff down here because there's no way I could take all of this and get there within 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I still need to pick up one of those. So it's like 20. So that doesn't work. So I can't take this cell, and this is part of yellow. And I'm sure the same is going to be true here. Because if I took this cell, I'd need to come up through here. And to get there, I'd need to isolate all of this. And I can't pick up all of that and still get here in 16. So yellow must pick up that, and those are the borders. Now that tells me that these are part of the 16. And yellow must get out in both directions to take the cells in these extremes. And now the 16 must get out. And if red came down, then I couldn't get down here. Because once it connected up to the 16, these cells all down here would be isolated. So it can't come down and it must come across, and yellow must fill all of that. I'm not sure about that. But yellow must, red can't come down through here. Now, red can't come through here because this would be too many cells, probably. Yeah, because what would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I couldn't take both of those cells, even within a direct path. So I can't come this way. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm one short if I go that way. So red must do that. But now I've got a problem. Because I have to come out through here without isolating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Which I can do by doing that. And that completes the puzzle. I thought that was tricky. okay. Green can't grow that way. So there's a border here, and this becomes another color. Green must grow until it hits 6. And this is now a different color, and the only thing it can reach is that yellow. Purple must grow 4, 5, 6. Red has to take this, because all of the other colors have their symbol. So this has to be red, which connects up. This can't be red. Well, this is, yellow is now locked in. Blue must grow, red must grow, red must grow, and blue must grow. Could have the purple been blue? Where? Back here? No, because I can't connect them up. Solitude. Each region only contains a single symbol. Solitude is what breaks that. It's okay. We learn by doing, or in my case, I learn by failing repeatedly. So I'm not doing counting on this one. I don't know what I'm doing on this one. There's a weird issue going on at the top. There's a very weird issue going on at the top. Hey, Vampy. There's another F-up I tend to do a lot, but I tend not to mention it on this channel. On BremSter Games, I mention it a lot more often. These two... So this can't come out past any of these. So there's a border here, or there's a border here, which means this takes that and must end. Right, that must grow, that must grow, that must grow. Yeah, no need to retract the message, Butterfly. You got that, I didn't. And now that must end, that must end, and that must end. And now there's only one place for the 4 to exist. So now this must grow in that direction, and this must grow in this direction, and that's a border, which means that takes all of those and must end. Up there for dancing, Butterfly. Now, the only place this can connect up is with the 2, which ends it. Now, the only place this can connect up is with that, which ends it. This can only connect up with there. So there is a border here, and the only thing that can fill this is this. So that puts that border in. The only thing that can fill this is this. And that's now an isolated 3. So there's your border, and this must go down, but I don't know how far. But the only thing that can fill this cell is that, and that must come up doing that. And now the only thing that can fill this is purple, putting that border in, and now green does that. Butterfly, you're amazing. The only thing that can fill this now is red, which puts that border in, meaning that is filled by those. The only thing that can fill this now is red, putting that border in. You are a genius, Butterfly. And this one is pretty. I haven't touched my keyboard since I started the stream. Boxy. All regions are rectangular with a size of 3. Well, there's only one rectangular shape with a size of 3. Doesn't that mean... I'm sorry, that was just... I'm kind of given up on the fully logical explanation here. When the developers tell you, as I said, it may have just been the mods of their Discord server, basically tell you to give up on... So why was that the case? If I'd done a 3 going up, then out of here, this would have had to have been a 3 going across, and I've isolated. So the only shape that you can do, which is 3 and rectangular, is a 3, and this can't go up, so it's horizontal. Now this must go up, now this must go up, and now I've got 2 2x3 shapes, which are just filled with the 3s. That's how I got there. I would highly recommend getting a new keyboard. I mean, I've got spares, but I can't send them to you. The first thing I do whenever I get a new computer, or not necessarily, but when I get a new computer, is I go and get one of these. This is a 10-year-old one, but I've got a spare one for my gaming computer. What used to be up there, but I've emptied all my shelving. I get a spare Logitech. These are like $20 Logitech keyboards. These things are rocks. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but these things here, I can't really extend it much further at the moment. These things here are rocks. I've had one on my work computer. That's the one for my work computer at home. I've got one from in my office. They gave us new flashy, like $150 keyboards about 4 years ago, and everyone complains they keep breaking down. At the time, I think it was like a $12 keyboard I bought, is still going strong after 14 years in the company. And they're just the dumbest keyboard. They're not wireless. They don't have any special features. You plug it into a USB port and it just works. Now, my gaming keyboard, this is a $400 and something keyboard. That's a different kettle of fish. But, you know, I could game with one of those and did for a while. And, you know, my Mac keyboard is my Mac keyboard. And that's the one I do the puzzle solving on. But getting just a cheap Logitech, those cheap Logitech keyboards, which, I mean, I don't know what they be, but you can pick them up for like 15, 20 bucks. Even still, possibly, I don't know, I haven't looked. And they're just rocks. They just last forever, or at least they used to. What do I want to look at? Let's look at this 4. So Solitude, area number, shows the area of a region, and Palisade. Okay, great. Now, this has to come out and pick something up. This has to come out and pick something up. This has to come out and pick something up. This has to come out. This has to come out. This has to come out. So all of that is true. Now, there's no border here, so there must be a border here. It must come up. And there must be a border there. But this could grow. There's no border here, so there must be a border here. This must grow, and there must be a border here, so the 4 must grow. Let's change the 4 to a different color, because it's possibly going to run into this. Now, there must be a border here, though, because there was no border here, but I don't know which way that grows. Now, this must be a different color. The 4 can't reach it. I think it has to be the 5. Because if it's not the 5, if it's something at the top, that thing at the top has to come through this gap here to get to it. And then the 5 is isolated. If it's red, red has to come through like here, and the 5 is isolated. So the only thing that could pick up this square, and that means I'm going to do some color changing, I'm going to make this red. I thought I made it red. Is this 5. Hey, Puck, welcome back. Now, I don't know that this has to grow, but 5 is only picking up 1 more. The 4 can't reach this, but the 5 could grab this and this could dogleg down. What's grabbing this cell? Oh no, I have a problem. I have a big, big problem. This cell is a problem. I'm going to recolor that because this cell here is a big problem. Because the only thing that can reach that is red or yellow, and I don't think it could be red. Because if red came through here, 5 could complete. But 3 would need to come here, 5 would need to come here, 4 would need to come here, and this has got too many borders. So I don't think red can do it. So this is yellow. And it can't come this way, because then it would need to do that, and 3 is the wrong size. So I think it has to do that, and that becomes the 3. Now this can't be the... This now has to be the 4, because if red comes in, 4 is too small. And then there is a border here because of the way this shape, there is an opening here. And then if the 5 took this cell or this cell, then these would be isolated. So the 5 takes that, and that completes the puzzle. Hey, Sonalita. I know. Playing with colour is part of the fun of this. Right, this must come out. There must be a border there because I must have... So the important thing with this shape is opposite no border, there's a border, and opposite border, there's no border. Oh, I never learn anything, do I? I think it assumes that once you've solved a puzzle, you have completely subsumed all of the logic that that constraint can possibly give you. I think you typed that in yourself. Spoilers are allowed in this channel. I do have mods here who, if you say something terrible, will say something. By the way, Vamp, how are you doing if you're still here? I hope you're doing well. We've made huge progress on the house. Okay, I need help, but this isn't news. I've solved hundreds too. I think I'm at about 400. So whichever way this goes, it's immediately going to end. So this is just an elbow because it can't go up again. Also, whenever you have an L palisade on border, yes, but I don't, oh yeah. But what's that doing for me? Well, this is a different region. And that's everything. Thank you, Sonalita, because that now is a different region. This must come out, which ends. There's the border, so this is a different region. That ends. That goes there, which ends. That goes up. There's borders here, so this goes up. You're better at puzzles than I am, Vampy. Yeah, I said that. Okay. Yeah, for some puzzles. But this sort of puzzle, I think you're better than me. I think you see the patterns better than I do. So, haven't we got the same problem here as we had with an earlier one? If I go horizontal here, this would be a shape, which would mean there's a block here, which means there's a block here and there's a block here, which means this would go into here and into here. This has to be vertical. Because anytime you've got solitude with 3 of these like this, they have to be vertical. Because horizontal here means they go that, which puts a border here and a border here, which does that. And now I must put a border here, and there's a border in both of those, and that is broken. So whenever you get this, that must be vertical, and this is a different color. Now, can't go into there, can't go into there, can't go into there, can't go into there. So this is a different color, and this is a different color. So that's a border, which means these are all different because I can't mix symbols. And that does that, which can't go into here. So this is a different shape, which ends. Okay, Sonalita. I see that. You traded the Bluesmobile for a microphone? Okay, I can see that. Okay. And now that's a border. So those are all a different region again. So that's a border. And it can't go into there. And if this was part of this, if this went to this cell, that would be a 2 and this would be isolated. So that's a region and that comes into there. Okay, I've made some progress. This is what I'm calling it, some progress. I still don't know what to do. I'm tired. So I've got to get 4 shapes up here. If this was vertical, those would all be the same region, which would mean that is isolated and that is isolated. These would all be the same region, so those would be part of the same region. And then this is broken. Don't like that chain though. Is there a better way of doing it? This can't be vertical is what I'm saying. Because this could come up again. If this is vertical, it's those. Potentially no, it's those. So that is the extent of it. This, because it's got its border now, is those cells at least. But it can't come into here, can't come into here, can't come into any of those, and it can't go up. So it's literally that T. This cell has its 3 borders, so it must come into there and it can't come down. And this now has 3 borders. It doesn't work. I could kind of see that that was going to be a problem, but it does mean that this is horizontal, which puts that in. And now there's border there, border there, border there, which means this is all the same shape. I don't know that, yeah, I do know that's a border. And that means that this is the same shape and that's the same shape. Have a good one, Keith. Yeah, please like and subscribe. And I am saying this more often than I normally do, but Ko-fi support link below because, oh Lord, am I channel finances on an admin assistant at the moment. Okay, so that's forced because this has to come out once I draw the borders between shapes. And once this is one part of this region, it can't come up to here. Now, drawing these shapes in, I always find incredibly tricky. Did this serve any purpose whatsoever? Isn't this shape completely pointless? Because most of this grid is going to need to be covered in yellow. Because like this is going to need to be yellow because none of these shapes can reach it. None of those shapes could reach that far. So that's going to need to be yellow, but definitely that is. Similar down here. None of them can reach it. It does serve a purpose. Oh, every symbol needs to have, every region needs to have a symbol, right? Great. Yep. Okay, so how do I draw these shapes in becomes the question. This has come out. If it's part of the 3, meant to change to that. If it's part of the 3, that would be the shape. So what we're looking for here is conflicts. And I find these very trial and error-y. And I know that's the way the game is designed, and I hate it. If this, then this, then this. So it's like, if the shape is this, which is, I mean, is there another way of doing it? Yeah, I could do that. I think they're the main options. There might be another one because I have a lot of trouble with these rotations. I think it's either that or that, which means either way, I think I'm having to take that cell. So there's a border there, and this is a different color. But it's like, if this, then this, then this is like, ugh. But I can see one thing. This yellow has to get out. And whichever way I draw this shape, whether I draw it like that or like that, I can't come out through here. This blocks off this cell, and that way blocks off this cell. Yellow cannot come out through here. So because of this yellow in the corner, yellow has to come out through here. I agree inference chains are okay, but the minute I see an inference chain that's like more than 4 or 5 steps long, it's no longer really being logic, it's just being case testing. So if you've got an inference chain in Sudoku where it's like, oh, hang on, if this is a 2, then that forces this to be a 3, that would be a 2, and that's going to break somewhere, you're okay. The minute it's like, well, if this is a 3, then that's going to force a 2-4 pair over there, which down here is going to force a 6, which is going to force the 7 in that box to be here, which makes that a 9, which breaks something in box 3. That's too long. That is just blech. But there is something here with these corner cells having to be yellow, and therefore they need to get through. So I can't block off. So the way that this blue was positioned so I couldn't get yellow up, I had to come through here, and now this red is trapped. That's a good piece of logic. So the question is, how do I draw the red in now without coming into this cell? this cell is I can't come into. So where does it get its 3? The only place it can get its 3 is there. No, that can't be right. Yeah, and this is the thing. On their Discord, when people were saying, so what's the logical step from here? Even the moderators or the developers, I don't know what the colors were basically saying, well, you just test to see what breaks. And it's like, there is no logical design path here. If this is the 3, where do I go up from the 3? Because one side goes up and I can't put it. Oh, I could do that. And I think it has to be, because there's nowhere else I could put the 3 off that. I can't do it vertically in any of those columns. I couldn't do it horizontal here, because then I'd need to come down and that would block off yellow. That has to be the red. And that's caused by the yellow being trapped in the corner. I actually quite like that deduction. And I believe this is correct. And now this is forced by these having to be different, because it must come out, but it can't come into this. Now, this can't be part of the 3 because it would have to be that, and this is trapped. So the 3 must be here doing that, and that becomes. This is really clever. But now, yeah, I have to come back to figure out what this is. I know I can't take that cell. Or either of those. Or that one. But green can't come up again, because then this yellow here would be isolated because I can't come through here. So it can't come up, so that has to be the 3. And if I took that one, yellow is isolated. It must take that one. And this yellow must come through here and take all of this. This is so clever. And I think I got the core logic of this quite quickly. Now, why couldn't it be that? And that allows me to complete this. I could draw this in as that. That seems fine. Or what's wrong? That isolates one. So if I made this vertical, I couldn't come out here. I'd come out here and isolate a cell. So it has to be horizontal, which forces it to be that. And now that completes the puzzle. That is brilliant. And it was all about these corner pieces needing to be part of yellow, and where would they connect up? It's back to the yin-yang concept. Yeah, because it has to be that is terrible logic, but it is the way this is designed. Yeah. Okay. So I'm done with Palisade. Blue can't get through this Great Wall. So this area up here, in here, must be filled, or in here, get rid of, not a very accurate pen tool. This area in here must all be filled by those shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 15 to play with. So, but that area in there must be filled by those shapes because blue can't get through. I agree, Butterfly, which is why I don't like it. Now I can see a couple of ways of filling this top region. Like, can't I? Like, can't I do... Can't I do that, that, and that, and then bring in blue? That works. But what's wrong with that? No, that was the only way of doing it, I think. Because this cell, if I made it part of that, that traps in blue. Wow, I think the way I saw first was the only way of doing it that actually lets blue get in. That's really weird. Okay. And again, logical proof is case testing. Now we've definitely got borders in here. Now, if this goes up, it has to do that or that, which would force blue to come around. And then it couldn't get to the other side. But does it need to? Like if I did that, yeah, blue needs to get down to the bottom because this shape can't fill all of that. And then there's isolated cells. So if this goes up, if it goes that way, then it's got to come through here and it's blocking off the T. And if it goes this way, then it's got to come through here and it's blocking off the L. So this must come down. It can't come up. And now it either does that or it does that. But if it does that, the T is going to isolate this cell. Whereas if it goes this way, I can actually draw that in. And that works. Then I can draw in the T and fill in all of this with blue. And we're good. The link is wrong? People have been using that link for ages. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just really curious. I'm absolutely not saying you're wrong. The link that is displayed, that's really weird because the link that is displayed, okay, I'll have to fix all of that. The link that is okay, yeah, I'll have to fix every single Ko-fi link I've ever published. That's not good. But thank you for the support. I'll check that out later. Really appreciate it. Every single Ko-fi link I've ever published is wrong. Thank you for telling me. Let's make a note here. It's possible that, okay, so it's possible Ko-fi has changed their ID system to remove the numbers. Damn. Okay. I haven't even looked at my, and I think I'm clear to people. It really, I mean, Ko-fi helps, particularly at the moment when I'm paying for a channel admin, but I never want to make people feel that it is required. They used to email you when someone sent something. So what I want, the reason I'm checking is I want to thank the people who did this. But needless to say, my account is quite secure. What? So secure? I'm out. What? They've broken Ko-fi. Right, you need my MFA token. So thank you, Miss Lydian, for a support about a week ago. Thank you, Plank Time, for one yesterday. And thank you, Sonalita, for one today. Greatly appreciated. And Plank Time, after what you did on the first stream, you're crazy. But I'll try and fix what's going on there. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Let's get back to the puzzle. So the concept was how to not allow blue, or how to make sure that blue could get to the bits where it needed to be. But these ones seem way more tricky. Now, I know there's a border here. Like, it feels like that's good. And then that's good. And that allows blue to get in. But again, what's the logical proof to that? Point! Thank you, Plank Time. So that first donation, I said I would take Maggie out for dinner with it. She's not yet up to going out for dinner, but I did buy a real nice takeout from her favorite restaurant, and I bought one of her favorite meals and I delivered it to her. So I've met that promise. This one is going to go for channel admin. Thank you so much. That's going pretty much straight to the person who's going through, and I'll explain after I've done this puzzle what's actually being done with that so people know what it's for. Because I want to be transparent here. Actually, for money in my pocket, it's generally, people would say Ko-fi is better. However, when a stream or something gets a donation, that normally means that YouTube will promote it more. So this stream is now going to get a lot more views, which will incrementally potentially mean more. So it's hard to know. So I don't want to tell people how they should do it if they want to. And they don't have to. You know this, Plank Time. But you know how grateful I am. You really do. Like, I joke, but because I don't want people to ever feel pressured that they have to donate. Because I know so many creators who do that. It feels like it has to be that. But that's a problem. I mean, yeah, all of these are a problem. I think blue has to take this top row, because if blue doesn't take the top row, however this comes into the top row is going to isolate a cell in the top row. So I think blue has to take the entire top row. And that's a different problem. So I'm wrong about that. Except I could do that. And then that, and blue can take all of that. I mean, I just have to assume that Plank Time is well off enough that this isn't actually a financial burden. Because if Plank Time was putting him or herself into financial burden for this, then I would be upset. Because I know that some of the people who watch my channel are not in a position to be able to financially support me. And I never want them to feel that they ever feel guilty that they don't, ever. So what I'm doing with the administrative assistant on the channel, and I know this is a bad time to doing it because this is my stream of this, but it all matters. And I try and be honest with what I'm doing on the channel, is I'm paying an administrative assistant to, first of all, they've created a whole bunch of playlists. You may have, Happy Easter. They've created a whole bunch of playlists, or they've populated a whole bunch of playlists that I'd created with all of the puzzle features that have ever been done all 1,600 of them, into 3-month blocks, because when you get really long playlists, YouTube doesn't like them, and it gets them, they really don't work very well. So there's now a playlist of all the 2021 features, and then 2022 January to March, 2022 April to June, 2022, and we've broken them into 3 months for every year that I've been doing the channel, except 2021, where I only did I think it was 92 features in 2021, because that's the year I started the channel. So if you're wanting to go and check out a particular time period of the channel, you can go back and you can say, I want to see some puzzles from 2021 this quarter, bam, and you can see them all, and they're easy to find and they're easy to go through, much easier than the big history, so you can easily find them. Yeah, they just go completely nuts. But even at over 100, it becomes quite unmanageable on YouTube. So I wanted to break that down. The second thing that they're doing for me is they're going through and they're redoing all of the descriptions of the videos to fix 3 major problems. Early on, I didn't have the statement in that the puzzles that are submitted are owned by the puzzle creators, and I've been given permission to create a video solve, but I don't own the rights to the puzzle. Because recently in the community, there's been a whole thing about who owns the puzzles and the solves on channels. And I want to be very, very clear that I do not own the puzzles, and I do not own any rights to them, and I can't sell them, and I can't use them for anything except for the video solve that I have done. If you want to use the puzzles for anything, you need to go to the creators. I have no say in that. I want to be very clear about that. And I didn't start posting that until early 2025 when this first became an issue, and I want that to be added historically. Now, people may say, but it wasn't an issue back then. Sure, but I still want to do it because I feel that's the right thing to do for the puzzle creators. The other thing that I want to do is, while that statement is being added, and I know this will be ignored by every AI company, but I want to put in a statement saying no permission is given for these videos to be used for any AI training or anything like that. I know they'll ignore that, but I want to put it there so that if anyone comes to me and says, oh, you're doing blah, 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 blah. No, I have nothing to do with AI. I don't support it, and I do not want anyone to think that I am. I do not give permission for AI to be used to use my videos as training data. If they do it without my consent, I can't stop that because of the way that laws are being passed in other countries, but I do not consent because I don't own the puzzles. The third thing is a lot of the earlier links are done using tinyURL and all of that sort of stuff, and they're quite broken and they don't work very well. So find those older links that don't work very well and recreate them in the Sudoku short URL. That's it. But that's a lot of work because there's 2,500 videos on my channel. So this person should be paid. Now, they're not charging me minimum wage or anything. They're a friend. I've given them ownership of my channel, like co-ownership of my channel for the duration of this, and that was scary. But you know, multiple channels have collaborators when multiple people are working on a channel. That's a feature YouTube offers. So I've given them the ability to manage my channel so that they can do all of this work. But all of that is taking time, and turning around to someone and saying, just because you're a friend, I want you to do all this work for me for free, that's not fair. Therefore, I'm paying them for their time. Am I paying them enough? No, it's mates rates, but I am doing that. Yeah, and you know, it's going to cost me more than the channel makes in a month, normally, unless plank time is really insane. Let's do another puzzle. Okay. These cells are interesting to me because what can hit them? And I hope everyone is understanding. I'm happy to answer questions about any of this, but I really want to respect the people who submit puzzles, or show the people who submit puzzles to me the utmost respect. Because what can reach those cells? The fours can't and the shapes can't. So it's got to be these. But there's a lot of cells that have to be hit by those shapes. Actually, this plus is a problem. How does this plus interact with that cell? What the heck is going on here? Because the easy thing to do is have this 4 come across, but then this plus is not completable. Where can this plus be drawn? Now, there's an obvious place, and there's another obvious place, but that's completely broken because that isolates the 4. So the plus can't be drawn there. Does not work. Could be drawn there, except it isolates that cell. So that doesn't work. So it's got to be that. Everyone went silent. I don't know if plank time scared them off. That has to be the plus. There's nowhere else to draw the plus because of this border that doesn't isolate cells. That's gorgeous. Hey, missing deck, you'll have to correct me as to who it actually is. Now, this must come out. Now, it could connect with the 4. What happens if it doesn't? 4 would come out, green would come out, green would come out. It might be possible. It is full deck. Excellent. I've always wondered, tried to figure out whether I could watch it on TV and bring up chat on the phone. I've never tried. Now, that was fascinating. I wonder if there's a similar problem down here with this L. How do I go to L? Actually, no, the L doesn't give me anywhere near as much of a problem. But this cell is now a problem. Yeah, this can't go down. If this went down, what is this? Actually, no, because... yeah, this is a long chain to disprove. I don't think it can go down. Thank you for hopping in, Butterfly. Greatly appreciated. Oh, and I hope people have been enjoying the Vault series, which started this morning and will continue for a long, long, long time. Hang on, it can't go across, can it? Yes, it could, because then it could come out and that could be a 4. That works actually really well. So going across is really well. Going down is more of a problem. Because this cell now has to be a different color. Then this would come down and have, or it doesn't have to come out. I mean, this could just dead end there. It's unlikely though. So yeah, I don't... Big L cuts off left and right direction. Does it? Well, it can't do that. That's not possible because boom. Hang on. I can't do that. Because then there's only one cell in here and the other border would be broken. So I can't do that. I could potentially do that, but that does cut it off. If I did that, it would cut it off. and also break that cell. That's breaking that cell. Does it have to be that? No, it can't be that. No, it can be that. Okay, so what doesn't isolate? Yeah, this L is a problem. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's really tricky to see. And again, it feels like case testing, but that's, So I can't do that because I've got two symbols. So that doesn't work. I can't do a 3 along here and go up the middle because that's not an L. So I can't do 3 along the bottom. If I do 3 along here, then it's got to do that. And that's a problem because this is the wrong shape. This has to be picked up by that, but it also has to continue. It's the wrong shape. So I can't do 3 along here. The 3 has to be along here. I can't do that because I can't go up or down 3. I can't do that because if I do that, these are all the wrong shape. Or are they? No, that's not possible because the 4 would have to do that. And then I've got 2 regions to do all of this. And the 4 can't reach all of this. So these 2 cells would have to be both from this region and it doesn't work. So that doesn't work. So it can't do that. That isolates. It must do that. That's the only way the L can go. Now this has to come up. Come out. And I think this has to connect up to this because, hey Riff Clown, I do that. If I'm looking at TV, I'm wearing my distance glasses, and then if I'm reading on my phone, I need these glasses. So what I'll often do is I can kind of read okay without these if my phone's far enough away and I'm not too worried about it being perfect. So I'll be watching the TV with my TV glasses and then sort of looking under them. Anyway, so 4 can't come to here, so this has to come out. And the 4 has to hit this now. So that's the 4. And this is broken. This doesn't work. No, wait. This doesn't work. Because I forgot those 2. These are 2 different regions. That doesn't work. I forgot about those 2 cells. If I remove that, no, that doesn't work. That does, though, because the problem... No, that doesn't... Oh, that's clever. That's very clever. No, that doesn't work. Because whatever comes into here is going to dead end. How is this difficulty 3? Because the only thing that can get this... No, this does work. This absolutely works. Holy cow. And that was because I needed to maintain this. Anything that came into this was going to dead end, but I could get out through the gap here. I know, Puck, and as I said, I was really trying to do a logical solve at every point until I got onto their Discord and saw all of the moderators. And as I said, I think the developer was one of them, basically saying that it's not the way the game was designed. So right. So because I had a border, I had to draw a border. Because I had a border, I had to draw a border. Once there's borders, these must go through because I can't draw any other borders. Okay. These have now got borders. But I don't know anything more about this. What takes that cell? If 2 went down, here, this would be isolated because yellow couldn't come into it. Basically, I think 2 has to take this because if 2 doesn't take this, how does this get out? It can't be part of the 2. This has to, it can't be part of yellow. This has to get out to something on this side because yellow is here. It can't come through yellow because then it's part of yellow. Orange has to come out this way. And this now can't be, well, this could be part of orange actually. But it must continue because it can't be part of the 2. So the 2 could be here, or it could be here and this could be orange. That, whoops. Oh, yeah, sorry, you said it, I didn't. Now, the big question becomes, what can hit what? Because I've got a very restricted... No, I don't. Some of these bordered regions can grow to any size. Except this cell. I mean, could this really connect up to orange? Or yellow or yellow? Maybe. I mean, it's unlikely, but it might technically be possible. You know, it couldn't do that, but, you know, it might technically be possible. Now, that would break all sorts of other things, but technically... I think it's cross in the upper right. I had looked at that. There's a few options. So I could center it on the cell it's on. I could center it on that cell. I could center it on that cell. They're the 3 cells I can center it on. Either way, if I center it on this cell, it takes those. No, actually, it must always, yeah. If I center it on this cell, I don't need that one. If I center it on this cell, I take all 3. If I center it on this cell, I don't need that one. So there's none of those 2 that I actually need. Oh, it does too. If that's it, then the 5 can't be completed. Very nice. So it's one of those 2. So red must take both of those. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But yellow could come up, but it can't take that cell. And 3 can't reach it. So this is part of the 5. Let's make those blue. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could... red is going to take one of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this could come up and in. But that's tricky. It would mean that the orange would have to take up to... Oh, no, yellow could come out. No, it does work. The top left cell does look like it belongs to the 7. But I'm trying to see... But these... Okay. This must be part of the blue because the 3 can't get that far. That must be part of the blue because the 3 can't get that far. This must be part of the 3 because neither the plus nor the 5 can get that far. But I don't know anything apart from that because these could be taken by the pluses. This could be taken by the 5. This could be taken by the yellow at the bottom. So this is a 7. This must be part of the 7. This can't reach it. This could... No, if the yellow came up to take the top corner, the 7 is trapped. So the 7 must take the corner. What is orange part of the 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think it is. Yeah, I was thinking that earlier, but the 7 gave us leeway. But I'm not sure it does. Because if we connect this to the 7, no, 1, 2, 3, if we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how do we fill, like this could come up, but how do we fulfill that? We could do that, but then these are isolated. We would need to fill these cells with that shape. And there's no way of doing that. So you can't make the 7 part of orange without killing this. So the orange has to do that. And now these are all part of green, but this could come this way. But now we're broken. This is wrong. If this took those, what's that? It can't connect to this, but everything in here would need to connect. So orange can't take those. If orange took those, there'd be borders here. How is this going to work? And now there's no way to fill this W. I'm always going to leave orphan cells. What color is between the dead end symbol and the top marked peak of the crosses? So you're saying that whatever this is, those have to be the same. They must take that, and that's going to dead end. No, I don't see that. Because this could come across. How is this only a 5? This is harder than some of the 7s. I don't think this border works because now there's no W in here. So this can't be part of orange. There must be a border here. So this now has to be part of the 7. Got it. Holy cow. No, I don't. I do. That. 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 And that. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers, but it seems forced. I hate seams. I really do. So this is complete. Hey, Chip. So up here, yellow doesn't need to grow. If blue takes this, pink... No, blue can't take this. If blue was to take this, let's draw. If blue was to take this, these would be bordered. And now pink and yellow would need to be responsible for 3 cells in here, but pink can only take 1 and yellow can only take 1. So yellow must come up. Which means the yellow takes 1, the blue takes 1, and the pink takes 1. Now the yellow L can't go across the top. If this went across here, that would be a border. This would come out. If this went across, there'd be a border here. There'd be a border here because this would have to come out. And that's fine. And I don't, it could come almost any distance. If it came to here, I could put the pink in here, the yellow to here, the blue to here. And that's the problem. So the problem may actually be here. Because everything in here needs to be taken by the plus and the vertical. Now that's doable only if I do, hang on, how do I make that work? Because the vertical has to go here. Yeah, it only works if I do that. If the plus is this, what takes, oh no, then that's that. And if the plus is this, then that is broken. So the plus has to be there, forcing that. Now one of these is blue and one of these is yellow. So that's blue, that's yellow. And now it kind of feels yellow has to go across the top, because this color can't also go there. So yellow has to take that cell and now must take that so blue can come out. At least that far, oops, because I don't think anything else can reach in that far. But I'm not sure about that. It must at least go that far though. Getting late and I need to get up early again in the morning and do more house. I won't say destruction, it just feels that way. So someone said something earlier about the bottom U. It can't do that. The U can't put its 3 vertical there. Can it do its 3 vertical there? No, that's not possible. And it can't do its 3 vertical there. So it can't do a vertical there. The cell count in here is 10, not 11. It can't do its vertical there. That would trap a cell. And it can't do its 3 there because that would run into a different shape. So it can't have a vertical 3 band. Unless it was there, nope, or there, no. So there's no vertical. It has to be a horizontal 3 band. Now, that is broken. No, that's the only possibility. No, that works because now I've got 5 here and the 6 could come out. So I could do the horizontal there. I can't do the horizontal there. That doesn't work, or it doesn't touch it. I could do the horizontal there. If I do that, the 5 count's wrong. If I do that, I have to do that. And that might work. So it's there or there. So it's that shape or that shape. And there's only one overlap cell on that, and it's the one where the symbol is. Pope. How does the lower one break the 5? There's your 5. And the 6 comes out like that. Yeah, red is red isn't allocated to a region yet, and red is a different color than yellow is what I'm trying to indicate here. Sorry. Yeah, notation on this is tricky and definitely takes some practice. A few of these play nicely. Well, one of these plays nicely with the L. With yellow coming out and doing stuff or whatever. But like the 5 in here. Yeah, the question, I see where you're coming from. If we were to put that in as the U, how do we fill? Yeah, it's broken. That is definitely broken, because how do we fill those cells? They can't be part of the U and they'd have to go through the L, and that is not an L shape. There is no way to make an L shape out of those. That bottom U does not work. So it must be that U. And now red can't be part of yellow, so it's part of the 5. There's the red. This is part of the 6. There's a lot of that in this game, Riff Clown. There is a lot of that in this game. This must be part of the L. And I can't continue on that part. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the L. And the only thing that can reach these cells now, actually, no, not that one, not that one, but the only thing that can reach those cells is yellow. Now, this can't be blue. Because if this was blue, then all of these would need to be blue and it'd be size 7. And once this isn't blue, all of these have to be. This has to come out. Yellow can't turn back down. And the only thing it can hit is the 3. Now, this piece can't possibly reach further than that. So all of those now take that. Now, if yellow goes up, it dead ends. Which I think might be a problem. Actually, I'm not sure it is. The constant questions of where can these shapes fit and all of the possibilities, because you're case checking. It's like, can that be the 3? 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 Are kind of awful. That can't be the 3. Oh no, that could be the 3 if it was like that. But that isolates a cell. So that is not the 3. If this is the 3, it would have to be like that and it isolates the cell. If this is the 3, I would need to take one of those two and I can't. The 3 on that must be vertical. And the only way I can protrude off at an end is that, which means that is that shape. Which perfectly allows that to be that shape. Sorry, Riff, I'm not ignoring you. There's just stream lag. Unlike with Sudoku, where I can set it to be like only a few seconds late because of the higher quality of video on a video game, there's just more video processing lag. Now, this must come out. And it can't go down. Because if this goes down, it must end. Then this cell would have to go down and end, and this can't reach anything. So this cannot go down. But now we've got a similar problem. No, we don't. It can take both. In fact, no, this is all weird. Hang on. This must come down and get something. It has to take one of those. If it takes that, that ends. I kind of have to take this, otherwise that comes down. So I have to take this, and I can't continue. This has to be part of the 4, because this has to be a different color to orange. This now has to be part of the 4. And I'm broken. So with that, well, that was a beast, and that was only difficulty 5. I don't want to do another difficulty 5. I want to Oh, non-boxy. That must stop because no regions are rectangular. That, yeah, this has to continue, can't stop, has to continue, can't stop, has to continue, and then that's the solution. All regions are rectangular. Well, there's a 1 by 1. The only way to do a 3 rectangular region is a 3 by 1. There's only 2 ways of doing 4 rectangular regions, 2 by 2 or 4 by 1. That's a 4 by 1. The only way of doing a 6 rectangular region is 6 by 1, 3 by 2. So there's a 3 by 2, 3 by 1, 2 by 2. Oh, it didn't have solitaire. I didn't need every region. Every region. Let's try this 4 and then maybe call it. Every cell these are 2 different colors. And yellow needs to get out of this region to a number. And turquoise needs to get out to a number. I feel like it's got to be that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because otherwise, yellow's not going to get out to a region. Like, yellow has to get out to a number. If it took this number, then turquoise would be isolated, and the only one it can reach without isolating cells is that one, allowing turquoise to take all of those. That feels forced. This then has to come up. I don't like this not perfectly logical solve, but for the previous 6 streams, I tried to do the proving everything 100%. And why couldn't it be something else? And it was driving me insane. Now, turquoise can't come through here. So turquoise, which needs, I've only got 4 cells. Turquoise must come through here because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I must come through here because I can't come through here. That means I must take that cell. I don't need to take this one, and I can't take this one, which is now a different color, which must come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at maximum 8, I must take another one with turquoise. Green must grow, but green needs to hit a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The only one it can reach is one of those 2. But this can't be turquoise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This can't be turquoise. Hang on, this is broken. How does this... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It must grow at least 1, bringing green to there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I come down, what's this? It can't be green and it can't be turquoise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Forcing turquoise to complete. Rift Clown, you are smart. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now these are 2 different colors, but these are 2 different colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it feels... No, that's a problem. Ah, no, it's just that. Because what I was trying to figure out is where do I take an extra cell with red? I can't come down here without chopping off purple, but I have this cell here to take the extra cell on red. No regions are rectangular. This has to come out and continue. These have to come out and continue. And I can't double back, so that ends. This has to come out and continue, and I can't double back. This has to come out and continue, but I could continue here. This one can't continue. This has to come out and bend, and I can't double back. This has to come out and bend, and I can't double back, and that completes the puzzle. So the concept on this one is no doubling back. Solitude, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Green has a dead end in the corner. Green has a dead end and not a corner. Oh, this green. I'm not seeing either green. Oh. Let's do this properly. Okay. I'm a bit of an L rather than a U. Oops. I'm getting tired and therefore getting distracted. That is not healthy. Row 2, column 1 must be green. Oh, precision. See, this is what happens when I don't read the damn rules. If this isn't green, it can't reach another symbol. Now this has to come out, and the only symbol it can reach is that one. Hey, Lucian's rule. By the time you get as far through as I am, you will not remember the solutions to the puzzle. Probably. You may have a better memory than me. There are Botswanian bad memory frogs that have better memories than me. There's probably no such thing as a Botswanian bad memory frog. I don't remember. If this cell was not part of this region, it would do that and this would be cut off. So it has to be part of this. So this has to be part of a T, forcing that to be the blue. Doesn't it? This can't connect to this symbol. It can't connect to blue, it's too far away. It can't connect to yellow, it's too far away. The only two symbols it connect to are these. If it connects to that, this is trapped. It doesn't work. It must connect to purple. If I came this way, I can't grow it without forcing, because that would be a border and I can't come into that cell. That doesn't work. So it has to come this way, then connect up. There's no border there, so there is a border here. So I can't put purple here. The only thing that can take that is blue, and now purple must grow. And this is another color that comes down and must grow. Up here for dancing. And now this cell can't go down, because if it did, it would immediately dead end. So that is green and that comes out and must go down because it can't enter yellow, and there's a border there. Yeah, we do, because that cell can now only reach one thing within 4. 5 away, 5 away, 4 away. Yellow must grow, red must grow. This must come out. There is a border here, which means there is no border here because of the style of border. If this came down here, this would be isolated because of the 4 restraint, which the last time I looked at this, I wasn't thinking about. That is orange. Now this must come out. Let's make it a green. I don't have green down here. And it can't go that way or that way. That comes out. Yellow is now a 2x2. And this must come out and continue and continue. Green is done. Orange is done. And the solution looks to just be that. I did a puzzle. All boxes are rectangular and they're size 6. So we have 6x1, 2x3, 3x2, and 1x6. So this can't be a 6x1. This is a 2x3. This can't be a 6x1. This is a 2x3. This now has to be part of a 6x1 because there's a 1. This is part of a 6x1. This is a 2, therefore it's part of a 2x3. That's a 6x1. That's a 2x3, and we're done. Oof. All regions are rectangular. All regions must have different shapes. And we're playing with 15 cells. So there's 1, 1. You can have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Can I draw here? There's a 1, which will take 1 cell. A 2, which will take 2 cells. A 3, which will take 3 cells. 4, there's 2 combinations. because there's 2 by 2 and there's 4 by 1, and that'll take 8 cells. That gets us to 14 only. So there must be a 5, of which there's only a 5 by 1 possible. And there's nowhere to put a 6, but I must have a 5 by 1 in this grid because I'm aiming for 15 cells. And 8 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 doesn't get me there. So once I've got a 5, I need 10 cells, which would be a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. And there's no 2 by 2. So I need a 4 by 1. If this is the 5, I could do a 3 and a 1, but I can't do a 4 and a 2. If this is the 5, I can go 2, 4, 3, 1. I wish it was possible to bring out a notepad when you're doing notes on the grid, so you could keep notes that you could, like a multi-page notepad, so you could keep notes and draw shapes and stuff and not just have to clear them and lose them all, and actually be able to make them go away so you could draw on the grid, because it's not often you have a place like this where to draw stuff like that. But that was the math behind why you needed a 5 by 1. I think I explained that logically. Have a good one, Plank Time. Thank you again so much for the support. No regions are rectangular. So this has to come out, but has to bend. This has to come out, but has to bend. So that is a region, because it can't go, could potentially come out, but it can't go that way or that way. This has to come out and has to bend. This has to come out and has to bend. And it can't go down and it can't go up. This has to come up and has to bend and it can't go down. And then that must all be orange, because this has to come down and has to bend. This has to come up and has to bend. So all of this becomes orange. This is a different color that comes out and must go up, ending red. This color must come up, and it must bend at some point. This isn't blue or green, and it must come up, and it can't bend into blue. Ooh, maybe it can bend into blue. If it bent into, no, it can't bend in here. Because if it bent in here, blue would be a 2 by 1. That's forced. Yellow must grow. Green must grow. Yellow must grow. Green must grow. Yellow must grow. Green does that. Yellow does that. Blue does that. Yellow had to bend because yellow couldn't be a, green couldn't be straight. So, yeah. But yes, that was the... I hate Gemini. This must come out. So this must come out. These have to be the same shape. So blue must come out, so orange must come out. If this was to come out, then orange would come out and be straight. So that doesn't work. So blue now must bend, but orange must continue straight. So we end up with 3 by 4, 4 by 3, and that finishes the puzzle. Because this could only come out 3 without blocking it in. This had to come out 4, so it was 4, and this was 3, so I had to make this 4 by 3, and I had to reflect them. I think this is going to be the last puzzle I do, assuming I can do it. Regions are exactly 3, and they're not rectangular. So this must come out and then bend. This must come out and then bend. Now, this can't take both of those or anything, and it can't take one of them either. Like, if this wasn't this, what happens? Like, that cell can't do that without isolating. It can't do that without it can't do that without isolating. If it doesn't take this cell, it takes those and it's isolated. If it doesn't take this cell, it's those and it's isolated. It must take those. Hey, Deco Boko. This game is incredible with some exceptions. No, reflections and rotations don't matter. They teach you that in like puzzle 5. This must come out and must bend. This must come out and must bend. This must come out and must bend in one direction or another. And if it went up, we have a problem, because then this would need to come out and bend and this couldn't bend. So that doesn't work. So this can't go up. It must come down. This comes out and bends. This comes out and bends, and that completes the puzzle. And with that, and a 2.5-hour stream, which I started while absolutely exhausted because of all the renovations going on and working with other people. Like, we have packed up half of our house and moved 3 rooms worth of furniture, all like Tetrised into one. So playing with tetrominos and everything at the moment kind of feels like furniture moving with a busted wrist, because I still have a busted wrist. But this has been fun. It has been really, really good to have a bunch of new people here. Lucian's Rule, great to see you. Deco Boko, great to see you. Sonalita, welcome back. Absolutely wonderful to see you here. This will get posted once this has been processed. I will be sharing it with my BremSter Games channel as well, which is where I normally play video games, and I play all sorts of video games over there, but this is very much a BremSter Puzzles type thing. So I'm maining this on BremSter Puzzles, partly because it's the channel that's monetized. But if you would like to see me play video games, I've done almost none in like 3 months because of Maggie falling and breaking her hip, the renovations we're doing in the house, and my work being extended. So I've been working very long hours. But when I get back to playing video games, if you would like to join me, please subscribe there. It would be great to get that to 500. I've been over 480 for 9 months now. So it would be, I will. So it would be great to do that. But if all you want to do is puzzles, you are more than welcome to just stay here. That's perfectly fine. But it's really good to see a bunch of people here. I'm glad that people are enjoying these streams. I am going to continue trying to do them. I have no idea what it's going to be like in less than 2 days when the room right behind my screen starts being demolished. So this is why everything behind me is being completely ripped down, because we don't want anything to go wrong. And it still might. So we'll have to wait and see. Lucian's Rule, that's perfectly fine. I'm glad you were able to jump in. It's nearly 11:30 and I need to go to bed. Even though it's a holiday and I've still got 2 more days off, I've been getting up at like 8 o'clock in the morning and moving furniture for 8 hours. I'm exhausted. I'm not used to this level of physical exercise. I'm normally a brain worker. The other thing I've been doing is I've been reaching out to the Artisan of Glimmith community, because you can make puzzles in this game. So it is possible for you to make your own puzzles, and I've been reaching out to people to try and see what the ability for me to actually do puzzle features of user-created Artisan of Glimmith puzzles as puzzle features instead of just Sudoku, like as my features for the night, for the day. So I've been reaching out and trying to figure out whether that's something I could do. We will have to see how that goes. Hello, Elos. So that'll all be something we will try and figure out. Yeah, so there's a lot going on at the moment. Please check out the playlists. As I said, I made a community post, which is to all of the playlists, so you can go and check them out. I hope people engage with the vault puzzles. The way I did the vault puzzles is I made a list of all of the first 1,000 features now that I'm nearly at 1,600. So that basically is anything up to about 18 months ago. I made a list of the first 1,000 puzzles on the channel, and then I got random.org to give me basically a random list, 1 to 1,000 in a random order, and I'm just going to redo those as community posts in completely random, so that will bring those to the front. And the reason I want to do that is because that way we've got people rather than the algorithm recommending puzzles, which is great as well. But it means that when you go to the comments, you're much more likely to encounter other people who have recently solved the puzzle, which I feel is much better experience than you leaving a comment on a video which no one has been at for 4 years. So it'll hopefully get the community working as well. So there's all sorts of interesting stuff going on that I'm trying to do, and just doing puzzles from the vault and trying to surface some of those old amazing puzzles I think will be a great thing. So I'm really trying to use what I've got with a 2,500 puzzle bench, including packs and everything, to try and allow people to rediscover, because I've got a lot of new people who've joined in the last couple of years, to help them rediscover some of those old puzzles, older creators and everything, and just see what's been going on and try to make that all work. As well as support other creators. You can call me Martha, Timotab, Puzzle Patzer, Lucian's Place, all of these wonderful creators who, Logic Lima, all of these wonderful creators who deserve to be seen as well. You can absolutely go out and find so much puzzle content, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's fun. Thank you, Riff. That was an older submission that I just never got to, so I'm glad you liked that one. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for all of your support to the channel. Thank you, Plank Time, even though I know you've had to move on, for the wonderful support, which will really help me not feel quite so guilty with all of the administrative work I'm getting someone to do for me, because I just don't have the bandwidth at the moment. But I really want to make the channel feel better for creators, and I do want people to understand that I want the creators to feel comfortable here with everything that I do, and not let the quality drop just because something was published years ago. I'm really trying to make all that work. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for all of the support, and as always, good luck with your solving. Bye, everyone.